doing, everybody? You've reached another edition of the NRW Checkpoint. As always, you're joined by, well, me, WebsterStyle, the man, the voice of fragrance, and Brian Sapph. Brian, how are you today, sir?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's a long day. It's the beginning of the week, kind of, sort of, but you know, we're still talking about one of our favorite things, games. And this week, there are a plethora of interesting games to talk about. Let's start off with the first one, the Mortuary Assistant, which is coming out on PC. And this is an adventure simulation horror game. And I saw this and I'm like, this is very, very interesting. So let me give you a bit background. So you spend time alone with the dead in the Mortuary Assistant. Right there? No. You have taken on an apprenticeship at Riverfields Mortuary, a place where rumors abound of the deceased being entangled with the paranormal. Okay, double no. Perform embalming, handling the various jobs around the mortuary, and exercise demonic forces. Now, Brian, I will say this. Of all these simulations or simulation type games that we have talked about, this is probably the best way to make a mortuary simulation fun.
Okay. Is that what we're trying to do? Make it fun?
Well, it is a game, so if it's not fun, something's wrong. What do you think about this?
I don't know. I'm speechless. Why is this a game?
Well, we're watching a trailer for this.
Okay.
So
maybe I have more commentary then. Because
it looked interesting. Just the premise behind it, it is not my cup of tea, but it's intriguing nonetheless, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, it sounds intriguing. This is a mortuary simulator.
Well, but you have that demonic sort of, you know, stopping souls from becoming, you know, those other beings and stuff. So there's an element of adventure, discovery, but you are embalming bodies and doing all the mortuary stuff too, apparently. So there's an aspect of simulation.
All right. Well, I'm interested to see what the trailer look like. I'll say that.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have South of the Circle. I see it. I want to say Song of the South, which, well, that's a whole nother topic. South of the Circle. Right. And that's for the PlayStation Family Systems, Xbox Family Systems, Switch, and PC. And this is an adventure game. And in this game, it tells a story of Peter, an academic who finds himself fighting for survival after a plane crash in Antarctica during the 1960s Cold War. The game focuses on Peter's memories and flashes back to his life at university and relationship with fellow lecturer Clara. Now, this looks pretty interesting, and we're watching the trailer for this as well. I like the art style, and again, we've always talked about these story-driven games, so this looks very much like a story-driven game.
It sounds like it. I don't know what America's fascination with the Cold War is, but the story sounds like it's one that's gonna be interesting. You say we have a trailer for it later?
Yes, we are watching a trailer for this one.
Okay.
So yeah, it does sound interesting. I don't know. It's weird. I guess the Cold War officially ended when the Berlin Wall came down. So I was 10 or so when that happened, or I don't know. Anyway, I was a youngster when it happened. So I was still alive somewhat during the Cold War. And it was, even to the tail end, it was weird looking back at it now. So I can understand, because we don't really, politically speaking, we don't have that sort of atmosphere today. Okay. And it was a very unique time, especially with all the players involved. So I can see why that they want to revisit that in a video game like this, because you can't recreate that today especially with our information technology age, like the Cold War, the atmosphere, the sort of political intrigue, as well as that very real fear of, you know, nuclear reprisal and somebody just having a hot button moment and pushing the button.
Right.
Even though I'm not saying that can't happen today, I don't think we are actually at a point where we really think it can happen. I'll put it that way, compared to the Cold War with the nuclear powers and the arms race. So it was an interesting time in not just American history, but world history in general. So I'm interested to see how that plays a part in the backdrop of this story, because the fact they specifically talk about the Cold War makes me think that this will have that whole atmosphere will have a very big impact on the story and how it really progresses, because it could have just been the 60s in general. It didn't have to specifically talk about the Cold War.
Right. Well, we'll see. I'm assuming that it'll be a better story than what Call of Duty offered, but again, Cold War, we'll see.
That's a whole nother animal. Whole nother animal.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get to another simulation today. Of course, mostly simulations are direct and only on PC, and we're looking at Camp Canyonwood. So with Camp Canyonwood, it's about the great outdoors and childhood memories, where players take the role of the summer camp's new head counselor. As a counselor, the players are responsible for breathing fresh life into old campgrounds by maintaining and improving the site each summer. Along with the camp players, must supervise young campers each summer. Who thought of this?
You know who thought of it.
Okay, we talked about the Mortuary Assistant. At least that tried to do some things, at least in his description, with making something that you would not think would be a good game interesting. Okay, no disrespect for the developers, and this clearly is not a game for me, but
I mean,
a simulation as a camp counselor,
right,
is only if I'm running from Jason. That's about it. We have that game already.
Yeah, I don't know. It is interesting, right? Because I remember going to summer camps as a kid. The camp counselors didn't seem like this was something that they wanted simulated. And I feel like this I feel like the life of a camp counselor is more so or less I'm just here for the check and the free field trips. Like I don't know what we're simulating, who we're supposed to be guiding. Are we watching a trailer for this one?
No, we are not. We're not watching a trailer for this one.
I'll look it up on my own time. But I don't know. Summertime, I don't know. I could
look. The only part of camp counseling I want to simulate is I want like a dating sim where you try to, court as many of the hot female counselors from the camp across the way as you can, or something like that, or vice versa, or male counselors if you're into guys, or what, like that would be interesting.
And then sounds more accurate to the camp counselor life.
Exactly. Exactly. And even having maintaining the I guess your kids, your charges as part of, like, you have to do that well in order to be able to go and over the camp across the way and I see that as part of dating simulator. I don't see that as part of the actual gameplay as a camp counselor.
Right. I don't know. Listen, the simulators, they really doing their thing this year. Like, there's a simulation for everything. Last episode, we talked about a bear that owns a B&B.
Yes.
Bear B&B. That's what they should have called it. But
that would have been awesome, though. Not bear and breakfast.
Right. But I don't know. I guess we're in the age of the simulators. They may be trying to tell us something. We know monkeypox is looming. Maybe it's going to be another back inside the house and your life is simulated for the next 2 to 3 years. Who knows? But camp counselor, Canyonwood, the simulator that lets you be a camp counselor. You can be a real camp counselor. I just want to let people know that. Those jobs are not hard to come by. There's tons of community centers where they should be, where you live. They hire counselors all the time. I don't even think you have to be like over 18 to be one. Either way, interesting choice of simulator. I'll leave it there.
Look, knock anybody that finds it interesting, because look, whatever floats your boat. Look,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
games for everybody's fancy. Just for us, we're gonna pass on this one. Definitely.
Yeah. Also, because I don't have PC access. I mean, I could easily pull up Steam or something like that, but
Right.
I'm not gonna do that for Camp Canyonwood. But more power to you guys over there who enjoy the simulators. I mean, if this has like, because we talking about it, right? If this has a level of campiness to it that can actually be hilarious, then
Right.
okay. Because there's room, in my opinion anyway, there's room for simulators that are obviously taking themselves as a joke and just trying to make you laugh and have a good time while you stream or whatever the case might be.
Right. I can see that working. Personally speaking.
There's a market for that. But if y'all being serious about this,
Mhm.
I don't know. Okay, that's it. Camp
All right.
Canyonwood PC is coming out this week, guys. If you're interested,
on Steam.
There you go.
Now, Brian, I have a question for you. Do you like to cook?
Yes.
Okay.
When I feel like cooking.
All right. So we have another game called
Another
PlateUp
simulator,
on the
huh?
PC. It's simulation / strategy.
Okay.
But with all these cooking games, there's always you're simulating cooking as a
Right.
strategy of serving customers. So with this game, you cook and serve your dishes, design and decorate your restaurants, and expand your culinary kingdom with new unlocks, abilities, and dishes in a procedurally generated location. Classic cooking with permanent roguelike progression. Hire your friends or do it all. So that sounds like a very interesting take on a cooking restaurant simulator.
Yes.
Like with just we're talking about with the previous game, with the camping game, this doesn't take itself seriously as that roguelike progression as well, which is unique in my opinion, especially to something like this. And you can do it with friends. I'm assuming there's multiplayer, if I remember the description correctly. So there may be multiplayer aspects as well, or you can do it all by yourself. And so with this, you're also not just creating dishes, but you're creating restaurants as well. Like that sounds interesting.
It does sound interesting. First thing that comes to mind though is another game for mobile that does the exact same thing, except for it's not on PC. I don't know. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I actually, funny enough, I enjoy like the cooking simulator games. Like Overcooked is really fun.
Right.
And I'll that name will come to me in the future, the other game. But when I first started getting into like mobile gaming, there was a cooking game or it was a restaurant game where you like cook, serve people and shit like that. Like I could see a room, I could see a niche area for PlateUp because they've
definitely
that particular simulator genre, I should say, I guess, that's been explored plenty of times and it's honestly been honed quite a bit. I mentioned Overcooked, this fantastic game. I don't see PlateUp being any different. If it's the game that I'm thinking of in my head, like this will be fun.
Yeah, cooking games, in my opinion, usually generally very fun. You can go from the really crazy and outlandish, and then you can go for the real, like restaurant type simulators,
management sims.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. So we're high on PlateUp. Next up, we have Hard West 2, and this is a strategy RPG, which looked very interesting. I was looking it up earlier, and we don't have the trailer for that. There's only so many trailers we can watch on this show. But this is a game where you blaze a trail back to the desert, back to the dark heart of the West in supernatural strategy RPG Hard West 2. And I thought of you, Brian, because we talked about those strategy RPGs before, especially from Square Enix. So this one with a gun full of lead and a fistful of witchcraft, raise an outlaw posse and chase down the devil to take back what's yours. It sounds interesting. What was that other game that we reviewed? That we talked about. It was game. It had a similar presence. Weird West or whatever it was.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't place the name either.
Yeah. That it sounds eerily similar to that, at least as far as, because that was a strategy sort of RPG as well. It sounds eerily similar as far as premise wise to that one. So I'm wondering, be interesting to take a look and see how different it is from that game, or how similar maybe the appropriate viewpoint would be. But
Right.
yeah, it looks interesting. It sounds interesting. Apparently, the first game came out like 5 or 6 years ago, so it's taken a
Really?
while to get the sequel out the door, and it's finally releasing this week. It apparently has a pretty big or decent cult following based on what I was looking at online.
That'll be interesting then. But it's only for PC.
Right, only for PC.
All right. Well,
Yep.
I'll at least give the trailer a try.
Right, exactly. All right. Next up, we have a shooter, and this is Thunderbolt Collection. This is on the PS4 and 5, Xbox Series systems, and One, and as well as the Switch. And this is actually, I lived on my arcade shooters when I was a kid. Raiden, all those sort of Aero Blasters. It was Aero Blaster, Aero Fighters, I think it was. Like, I loved those in the arcade. Thunderbolt is apparently a series that never came out in the West. It was just in like Japan and Taiwan from when I was reading. But they're bringing out the collection of the two games here. So Thunderbolt Collection is a compilation of two virtually scrolling shoot 'em ups from the series Thunderbolt, released in 1995, exclusive on in the East. Your goal is simple. Well, this will be very simple if you played any game like this. Destroy all the enemies that will come until you reach the final boss of the stage. Make it easier and faster as you collect items and power-ups and enhance your health bar, increase your speed, and upgrade or acquire new weapons. You will lead humanity to survival. So basically the premise and gameplay of any sort of shooter of that ilk.
Right.
It looked interesting when watching the trailer later, but I will say, watching the trailer, I can see why this game didn't come out in the West. Not that it doesn't look any good. It would have gotten lost in the mix of all of the great shooters that came out in the 90s in the arcades. It doesn't stand out. It doesn't look like a bad game. It does not stand out from that class that came out back then. I can, like I said, Aero Fighters is a game that I remember vividly in the Raiden series. I remember vividly playing during the early 90s, really right around and before, Street Fighter came out, 92-ish, and Mortal Kombat wasn't far behind, but really before 2D fighting really took over the arcades,
right.
Like those shooters were king for the most part.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know. Well, yeah, we're watching the trailer, right?
Yeah, we are watching the trailer for that one.
Okay. So maybe there's something that will pique our interest, but it does sound like another run-of-the-mill like arcade shooter.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know the price on this one, but I'm hoping they don't charge any more than like $15 or something like that.
No, can't
We say that, but we know how they do.
Yes, absolutely. You're right. Next
up, we have Turbo Golf Racing. And this is, as of right now, I'm not sure if it's coming out for any other systems down the line. An Xbox exclusive, Xbox One, S, X, and PC. And this is a game that is dropping on Game Pass on day one. Usually, when we see these indie games, it's just Xbox and PC. It's usually even money is dropping on Game Pass on day one. So this is a racing sports game. Turbo Golf Racing is an arcade-style sports racing game where up to 8 players online slam into oversized golf balls and race your friends in an explosive dash to the finish line.
Okay.
So we're watching the trailer for this, and maybe it's because it's a humongous ball and smaller cars. It just reminded me of and I forget the game.
I know what you're thinking of. I'm trying to think of it myself.
Oh, why am I not remembering this? Rocket League. That's what it is.
Yes, that's it.
And I know the gameplay isn't similar, but you can't help but think of Rocket League when you see this game. It sounds interesting, especially considering it's more of a racing than a like soccer sort of thing. Especially if it's golf too. I'll be interested to see how the golf gameplay works into you racing. And I'm assuming you're racing from one hole to the next trying to get the ball in the hole. I'm assuming that it says it's golf and it's racing. So I think of golf and racing, I'm thinking whoever races to the hole first with the ball wins and in the hole. So that's what I'm thinking, but we'll see.
That sounds like it could be it because I don't see it any other way.
Yeah.
Like you talking about two genres I never thought I would.
Exactly.
Golf and racing, they literally polar opposites. You're supposed to be quiet and steady and take your time with golf, and racing is literally everything else.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
I'm interested. I
Yeah,
just want to see it.
I will be downloading this one when it comes out at the time of this recording, probably tomorrow, I think.
Okay.
So I'll be definitely talking about it next week and let you know what it's like.
Right.
And last for this week, at least from what we're talking about, is Retreat to Enen. And this is a PC, and this is a survival adventure game.
I guess.
So with this, it's described as a thoughtful survival adventure from indie developer Head West. Play as a human survivor from the far future in the year 3600. War has destroyed humanity, but now it seeks a different path of harmony with nature. So that sounds interesting. We don't have the trailer for that, but just the premise alone, it sounds like a very calming game.
Yeah. Sounds like what society is heading towards if we don't get this global warming in check. But yeah, it does look it does sound like something that's like easygoing.
Yes.
Like a casual playthrough.
Yes.
That's
yeah,
a survival
exactly.
adventure game also. So I'm assuming there's a bit of strategy there, some kind of collecting as far as harboring things to keep you
resources. You probably have to build shelter, you probably have to gather food, all the things I don't want to do in the game because I have to do them in real life.
Right.
You know, that's the thing. I think the game I tried was that Conan's Legend game or whatever. And not knowing what I was getting into, I played it because it was on Game Pass. And I'm like, wait a minute, you have to get food, you have to build shelter. Why do I want to do this in a video game? That's just me, at least on such a realistic scale. And there are other games obviously that do it, like Animal Crossing, where it's like a time sake and you get, but that's fun to do. I don't want a realistic depiction of gathering these resources and real life consequences. I deal with that every day.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's not fun. Like I want something fantastical. And I don't know. Maybe this does it in a different way, but I mean it sounds like an interesting premise for a game. So
it does. And then Enen, that's not Earth. So obviously there's gonna be some element of otherworldliness. Because it's they said not Earth, right? Enen? What is that?
Enen, Enen. Of course, it could be Earth, you know. Planet of the Apes. They didn't know it was Earth until the very end. Spoilers if you've never seen Planet of the Apes, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't, shame on you.
Right.
Shame on you. I will warn you though, it's G-rated, but you see booty. Not the booty you want to see.
And Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, Charlton Heston is butterball backside in the beginning of that movie.
Oh, I'm thinking about the newer ones.
Oh no. I'm talking about the original. Not the remakes.
Right.
The last trilogy are pretty good.
Yeah.
Even Tim Burton's version has its place.
It does. I agree.
It does. All right.
Planet of the Apes, one of those franchises that I don't know. They stuck around and it's like I'm waiting for it to be like a terrible one, but then it's like, these are actually kind of interesting.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird, but we're not talking about movies here.
Nope. Let's get into some trailers, though. First up, we have The Mortuary Assistant.
I know it's late, but we just got 3 new cadavers, and no one else can make it in right now. I was hoping you could come in and take care of them.
What? Oh, you really embalming these people?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Nope. So, yeah.
I see right now, do not play this in the dark late at night.
Somebody coming out the floor. Oh!
I suffer no bondage but this rotting, weak, pathetic corpse.
Absolutely not.
Look at me! Look at this pitiful flesh I am service to. but this body is no longer mine. I have my prize.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay.
I see people liking this. Me,
No,
nope.
no,
It's
definitely.
a no. It's a
Definitely.
no. It's nope, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away, but I might, because I have friends that are very much into the horror games and stuff like that, especially spooky season's around the corner. So
Oh yeah,
I'm
it's
probably
perfect time of year for this to come out.
right. And I'm probably gonna pop in on some Twitch streams and check it out. But this is not gonna be coming anywhere in my house. I don't
Nah. I will say this much: that trailer makes it a whole lot more interesting looking than that description does.
I agree. I definitely
plays up more on the supernatural parts of what you're dealing with. So yeah,
right.
Definitely. Yeah, it looks interesting, just not my game. I will
no. Which is okay, because there are plenty of games that are for me.
Exactly.
And you guys, the developers, you guys did a great job. The trailer, I mean,
trailer's scary.
Yeah.
Look, we've watched some trailers on this show. I'm even reacting. A lot of video game trailers that are supposed to be scary don't hit. Right. That one hits.
Yeah,
that one's scary and evokes every single emotion you want it to. You want the Mortuary Assistant to evoke, and it does that on point. So you guys, great trailer.
You're a good trailer. Great. I agree.
Yep. Next up, we have Turbo Golf Racing.
Turbo Golf people doing.
Okay, so you have your own ball.
Okay, and they're interesting.
This looks fun.
It does. I was just getting ready to say, as soon as it opened up, I'm like, okay. It's one of those racing games where it's like, got some futuristic aspect to it. My only thing is like, I guess I have to play to find out. Like, how hard is it to keep the ball in front of you?
Yeah, exactly.
But this looks like it looks like it's an open world track and a linear track.
It looks something like that. Yeah, I'm glad it's dropping on Game Pass. I will definitely looking forward to playing this.
I would definitely play this. Sign up for the beta now. Okay.
All right.
That looks cool.
Right, so that looked good. All right, let's see what keeps Street going. Let's look at South of the Circle. Very interested in this one.
Right. South of the Circle.
This is the BBC Live program, and here is the news.
State of Play 11-bit Studios.
Hey, come on, wake up! Things in the Antarctic, they've been a little strange recently.
Are you saying there's someone else here?
Search me. Why don't you take a look out?
So I'd like you to keep an eye out. You would tell me if you saw anything suspicious, wouldn't you? I can trust you on that.
Absolutely. You can trust me.
Glad to hear it.
Oh my God, he's shooting at me.
The way this game is
you
set up,
suspect something's going
on?
Cool.
Something must be going on, but I can't put my finger on it.
Hey, stop shooting, you mad fool! Here you are writing about clouds, and yet you never see the sky.
It's so much better at night, don't you think?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Okay, this has to be European developer only because that was Scottish and
safe.
I hear the accent,
which is cool, and I hope so.
Right.
I can't see an American company doing this with them set up.
I like that.
Yeah, that looks really cool. Like a really good adventure, and again, a really good story-driven game.
Yeah, and the art style for it really works.
Yes,
I like how how they choose to like, they have like this whole cell shading kind of minimalistic style to it, but then like that scene where they're in the, I guess the president's chamber or whatever, and it's like a spotlight view on everything. That's really dope. I like that.
I hope the music in the game is as good as the music in the trailer.
Yeah, that was good too.
Because that was excellent music to really set the mood and that go along with the pacing of the story they were trying to tell in the trailer.
And that night scene was dope. I really, she was right. It does look better at night. Like, that whole roller coaster arch in the back with the like a silhouette, but it's not really like, I like that was that's interesting.
Seems like a real dope game. I can't wait for it to come out. Definitely looking forward to that one on my radar. All right, next up and last for this show, Thunderbolt Collection.
Okay. Oh, they letting you know. This was not outdoing Galaga.
Oh no. Galaga 89 looks way better than this. I guess it was on the Turbo Graphics is Galaga 92.
I understand why I didn't make it on time.
Yeah, because this looks so mediocre considering everything else came out at the time. And this came out in 95 and it must have been home console and not arcade.
I always enjoyed this kind of game. Even fun to like play mobile, like passing time, sitting waiting for a doctor to return or something. I played these.
Yeah, this is okay.
I get it now.
There is nothing even I was a shooter fan, there's nothing I would say, hey, you need to buy this, considering the amount of shooters like that there are that look insanely better. All I thought was, I want to play Ikaruga. Like literally, I'm like, let me turn on Ikaruga right now, because like that is such a much better looking game. And mind you, yes, that originally came out for the Dreamcast. Okay, got you. But still, there are so many options in a crowded field. It's like, okay, why did you feel like this was a game you needed to bring, a game that's never been out in the West and that's running, Nintendo and Super Nintendo S graphics compared to even what came out in the same time period on those same, like that game looks mediocre compared to things that even came out in that same gameplay graphic style back then.
Right. But who knows?
Who knows?
I guess I don't know. Somebody will appreciate it. I don't know.
I'm sure there are diehard shooter fans that will buy that up in a heartbeat. There are people who are like, oh, Thunderbolt was this great game. I played it on an emulator, or I had a Japanese copy for my family com or Super Family or what have you. I'm sure there are people, but those are going to be a very small subset of people.
Yeah. That's okay. Because maybe that's who
it's okay. That's all they need. That is all they need. Well, that's it for this week. Brian, I'm going to ask you a question though before we get to this week's upcoming, because we reacted to the trailer for Multiverses a while ago.
Yes.
First of all, I don't know. Is the beta on PlayStation?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I've been playing it.
Okay. What do you think of it? Because I stopped and played it the other day.
I'm enjoying it. I really enjoy. I like that I don't know, because I liken the game to like Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah, definitely Smash
clone stuff. Yeah, but there's a different element to it. I know that DC and Cartoon Network, even HBO, they license a lot of their characters for it or whatever. So that's always been dope. And I like the design of it, actually. Like, it looks really good. The extra things you could do as far as leveling the characters up, I don't know if you could do that in Brawlhalla and Smash Bros. I don't think you can. I don't think I've ever heard of that. But I've never played those games either. Just in passing, pick them up every once in a while. But I'm really enjoying it. I like Garnet. I've been using her a lot, and I don't know. I'm trying to get Steven down, but they say that's for like expert players. What happened?
You good?
Oh yeah.
I was just tell my Xbox turn back on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm enjoying the game though. It's really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. My only caveat with this game is there's no local co-op, and that's what I really was looking for.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was all online based.
Right.
And you could do 2 players, but 2 players against other people online. So I just didn't like that at all. And again, I know right now it's free to play, and I'm not sure how they're evolving it. That's something to bring into it. But I thought that for a Smash clone, it was very well done. The characters, even from that, what they offered first, were different enough where somebody could find a character they really like playing with. And also, if you're somebody who's playing through multiple times, like you were saying, there are enough characters for you to really learn and master and never get bored with it. And I think that's Smash Bros. At least this last iteration of Smash Bros. Has spoiled us as far as characters and the amount of characters they offered as DLC and whatnot. Even from the jump, there are just so many characters in the Smash Brothers. We forget I think it was like 8 characters in the original Street Fighter 2 or something like that. And we've gotten spoiled. So I think I believe there are 12 in the initial with this one. I may be wrong as far as with multiverses, but I thought overall that they had a good mix of characters and all the characters are really fun to play with. Yeah,
I agree. I've tried a few of them. Obviously, when you start the tutorial places you with Shaggy, and then you get to play Wonder Woman.
You played a tutorial?
Yeah.
We just jumped right into the game.
I had to play. I was like, let me get my bearings. Let me understand what's going on. But yeah, I played with Shaggy. Then Wonder Woman, I said that. Garnet is fun to play with. I think she's going to be my favorite until I unlock the rest of them. Steven, he has a learning curve to him, but I'm getting used to that. Batman seems to have his own set of skills and difficulties. I really like, though, that as you play these characters, you get points after you win matches or even lose them. And those go towards like unlocking different things that the characters can do that are unique to that character. I think that's gonna entice people to continue to play, because obviously there's like quests and like little side things you have to complete. What would they call them? Like, mission things that you have to complete in order to get those points, and then you can unlock different things. But overall, I'm enjoying it. I'm actually interested to see what characters they add next, because we know DC has a huge roster of characters that could fit perfect in this game. We see Arya Stark in there from Game of Thrones. Maybe Khaleesi will pop up. I would like that. Use some dragons or whatever. There's plenty of crystal gems involved in the Steven Universe world, and other Cartoon Network properties have plenty of characters. Like, there's a lot of potential here for this game to grow and be something that is a genuine contender with Smash Brothers and Brawlhalla, and I'm interested to see how that plays out, especially because Smash Brothers, that's Nintendo, and then Brawlhalla is like kind of floats in between Xbox and PlayStation. So this being like a actual versus kind of game, it has all of those different properties and those different licenses, and it's being marketed to everybody, and it's free to play. Like Smash Brothers, definitely. I think it's going to be dope. I did see though. Did you look at the custom games tab?
Yes, that's what we ended up playing. Yeah,
there was no local in there. No local gameplay.
No, that's why I was surprised. It was just the 2-on-2 online, or the 1 versus 2 online. You chose a bot, or the free for all, which was single player.
Okay. Well, maybe they'll add it in the
I hope
official release for the game, because it definitely needs one. Like that's a game that you could sit at the house and play with friends.
I agree. Like
connection for that.
I was definitely surprised by how good the game was. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily like. I wasn't like, oh, this is gonna be trash or whatever. But I was definitely like, okay. I wasn't like immediately like, this is gonna be great. I had to let me test it out first and then see, and it's doing fine with me. I'm going to play it when I get off of here. So,
exactly. Yeah, I was just really surprised and pleasantly surprised at how good it was. Outside of that one small gripe that I have, But I think overall it's really in a good place going forward. And I played, what is it, Brewwalla or whatever game is called. I think I played that once or twice. Was not impressed by it at all. And I'm not a Smash Brothers fan. Like, I enjoy the game. I played it since the first iteration way back when.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh my goodness, Smash Brothers, I gotta play. I'm not that sort of person.
Yeah.
So for me as a playtest, I'm like, okay, I was impressed. I was impressed with what they did, especially first time out the gate. That they've done what a lot of studios wish they could the first time they're doing this.
Right. Which is good because DC needed a win. And here you are with Multiverses.
Yep. So speaking of getting a win, Brian, what's coming up? How are you winning this week? What's going on with you?
I'm going to be releasing. Boom. I'm going to be releasing this thing, the Talk+Play blerdcast new episode, maybe in the next day or two. So by the time this uploads, I should have a new episode out. Obviously, Beyonce is here with new music. There's a ton of other things happening as far as television is concerned. Like, I have things to talk about. So
gotcha.
That, and then whenever this drops, then you'll see it on Nerds Rule the World YouTube channel.
Got you. Well, I will be talking this week on the Sartorial Geek podcast about WebsterStyle. Definitely talking about Nichelle Nichols, who we lost this week.
Right.
I finally got into Obi-Wan at the time of this recording. I finished the first 3 episodes. So 3 more episodes to go. So depending on where I finish, I'll be talking at least about the first 3, as well as some comics I'm reading. I got a couple new fragrances, at least one of which I'm going to talk about, Clean Musk, which is what I'm wearing today. So, check out the Instagrams and all that good stuff. If you want to see that, as well as a lot of other things that are going on in the world of Sartorial and Geek. But you're not on the Talk and Play blerdcast. You're not at the Sartorial and Geek podcast by WebsterStyle. You, of course, are rolling with Nerds Rule the World. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the NRW. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at New Release Wednesday. And of course, you're currently on YouTube, so you know the deal. Like, share, and subscribe.
Thanks for watching.